For many people, a measure of success is how much wealth a person has. And it doesn't matter if it's for business, for a cause, marriage, or just to get someone to do what they want them to do. Oftentimes, successful people find themselves in negotiations. Now, taking that as a cue, I want to give you 3 negotiation tips that you can use to get whatever you want out of life by using these tips and tactics used by one of the richest and wealthiest American businessmen to ever live, John D Rockefeller. Welcome back to Straight to the Point. I am Greg Jackson, self-proclaimed attorney extraordinaire, a co-host on the weekly radio talk show program Let's Talk About It, and the general in the Let's Talk Nation. As always, this channel is about educating, entertaining, and empowering viewers by providing insight on commonly asked legal questions as well as non-legal issues from time to time. And today I want to give some tips and some insights on how to be more successful by employing negotiation skills to get things that you want. And I'm going to give you these tips based on one of the greatest business minds that we've ever seen and one of the richest Americans to ever live, John D Rockefeller. What you may or may not know about John D Rockefeller is that he had a difficult childhood. His family oftentimes bounced between poverty and comfort because his dad was a con artist who went from city to city or village to village selling snake oil. And unlike the ultra-rich social elite Rockefellers that we know today, those Rockefellers did not fit in well where they lived and they were ostracized. Because of this, John D Rockefeller was able to develop a thick skin and a calm demeanor that helped him to become a master negotiator. With these skills of being a master negotiator, he was able to remain calm under pressure to where he was able to get the things that he wanted and come from humble beginnings to amass a wealth of over $400 billion in today's numbers. So here today, I'm going to give you 3 negotiation tips that were developed by John D Rockefeller. And I'm going to be honest with you, I actually use some of these negotiation tips whether I am in mediation or at trial and talking to a jury. These 3 negotiation tips are going to help you in your life, whether you're trying to buy a house, whether you're trying to buy a car, whether you're trying to get someone to do something that you want them to do. And these negotiation tips are going to help you to become successful in a small or large part of your own life. Tip number 1, before you start any negotiation, clear your mind. Enjoy the silence. What that means is that a lot of times when people are silent, the other person wants to fill that silence with words or with something because they're not comfortable with silence. If you become comfortable with silence and are able to clear your mind before you start negotiations, you already have an upper hand of showing a calm individual who's able to handle the most difficult of situations around you. Tip number 2 is to always remain calm and do not lose your cool. I'm a big fight fan, and one of the things that boxers always say is that you never fight angry. Once you start to fight angry, you lose all of the planning, you lose the tactics that you've developed over the course of weeks or months to train for a fight, and you might just lose that fight because you've lost control. In negotiations, it's much the same way. If you become irate, if you lose control, you may lose focus of what the end goal is, which is to be successful in getting what you want. Also, if you lose your cool, the other person may lose their cool, and now you're in a fight as opposed to a negotiation. The last tip is to remember that any successful negotiations is based on the relationship that you have with the other party. Now, those relationships may be long-standing. You may have known that person for a number of years, or it may be a new relationship that you're coming into that is just as important as a long-term relationship. Now, in understanding the importance of relationships, one of the things that you never want to do is you never want to give a threat. So in negotiations, if you start to threaten, you're going to ruin a relationship. And in ruining a relationship, you're more than likely going to ruin a negotiations. So remember, always enjoy the calm before you begin to negotiate. Enjoy the silence. The next thing is keep your cool. And the last thing is always remember that it's about relationships and not to make threats to damage that relationship. I hope that you're able to take these negotiation tips and apply them to your life to be more successful in anything that you do, whether it's from buying a house, purchasing a car, or even just trying to get your kids to do what you want them to do. These tips should help you to be more successful in that regard and in that aim. Hey, listen, as always, I appreciate you for tuning into my channel, for watching these videos, and for supporting me in all that I do. And if you found this video to be beneficial, please hit that like and subscribe button. And as always, I ask that you tell your friends and family to join you here next time to hear me, none other than Greg Jackson, self-proclaimed attorney extraordinaire, a co-host on the weekly radio talk show program Let's Talk About It, and the general in the Let's Talk Nation. Until next time, be good.